I did my training at Penn State and at UC Davis, and I research and teach mindfulness interventions for well-being and health. And I trained with the John Kabat-Zinn program, mindfulness-based stress reduction, that is probably the largest worldwide program in mindfulness training. And so we're trying to work with the VCU Rec Center to get a program up and going that's an abbreviated version of that, fit into our current times. And I can talk a little bit about that at the end. And Jess, I think you're already recording. So yeah, I think it's all good to record. But I just want to start our session today just acknowledging where we are collectively right now in the world, and just the vast variety of experiences that are arising, whether it's fear, overwhelm, or panic, or inspiration, or feeling of more connected with nature, or fear of unknown and not knowing, wondering about our parents, wondering about our friends, our children, ourselves, and not knowing. We're really in a place of uncertainty that we've never been in before, at least our collective humanity in this modern world. So as a meditator myself, I've drawn a lot on my practice to ground me in this period, and feels like a time when there's so much chaos and so much uncertainty going on in the world, to really cultivate that sense of inner strength and inner groundedness and inner calm to the extent that we're able, while also being really gentle with ourselves and with each other. And an invitation to come back to the present moment as much as we can. And if you're new to meditation, then try to offer some gentle guidance into what the present moment actually offers, not in a trivial way, but in a really profound, challenging way of this is the only moment we really have to live, in this present moment, and what happens when we get stuck in the future, in the past, and how do we draw on the strength of being present to cope in challenging times. So I'll invite you to find a comfortable posture. That can be sitting. I'm sitting on a chair right now. You can be sitting on a chair. You can be lying on your back on a yoga mat. I often lead body scan meditations that are in the lying position, and that's especially helpful if the body's under a lot of stress, there's a lot of tension, and if you're not feeling incredibly tired, where you might have more of a chance of falling asleep than if you're sitting upright. And if you are sitting upright, I encourage you to get your hips over your knees if you can. So coming to the front of your chair if you're sitting, and if you're kneeling or cross-legged on the floor, just propping up your hips with a cushion. You can prop up your arms with a cushion as well. If you have tension in your shoulders, you can put a pillow on your lap. And your eyes can be opened or closed. You'll notice that my eyes will come in and out of open and close as the facilitator. And personally, my practice, I vary open and close. So it's completely up to you and your comfort level. So coming together as a group, maybe sensing the fact that you're not alone right now, even if you're sitting alone in a room in your home, that there are a group of people with you sitting, cultivating stillness in this moment. And not only that, but across the entire world right now, people are cultivating stillness in their lives. social distancing and isolation to protect themselves and each other. So really feeling that collective presence here, really, what does that feel like? To be sitting here and knowing that you're not alone. And also recognizing perhaps that this is a radical act of self-love, just as the social isolation is a radical act of love for humanity, for each other. We're completely disrupting our busy lives and our busy systems to come home and stay safe to the best extent that we're able, knowing that we really ultimately don't have too much control. And perhaps setting an intention for your practice and this brief sit together, whether that's finding some groundedness amidst fear, or finding compassion for yourself, or rediscovering what the present moment feels like if you've been really caught up in the news or the future, whatever intention really feels important to you, and no one can give that to you. I certainly can't. Just taking a moment to sense into that intention. And then just bringing your attention to the fact that you're breathing, which really feels miraculous right now in a world where respiration is under attack with this pandemic. Really just deeply feeling the movement of the lungs in the chest, perhaps a sense of gratitude, perhaps grief, whatever might arise as you really feel into this moment of breathing. And allowing an exploration here of the sensations of breathing. What do you experience in terms of the volume or the temperature, or perhaps even the weight or the lightness of the lungs? Allowing this act of breathing in and out to continue to bring you back to this moment, this moment. As if you're riding the waves of the breath in and out of the shore of your body. And we're not trying to escape anything here, so if you notice your mind wandering, or emotions or physical sensations, that's completely fine. Just noticing that without judgment and bringing the attention back. As if you're bringing a small child back home, you're bringing your attention back to the breath, to this moment. Really just taking a few moments here to deeply explore the breath and what arises for you as you continue to bring your attention more fully into the present breathing. And if the mind is wandering or the eyes are wandering on the screen or any sense of distraction is arising, just noticing that without judging it, really bringing the attention back to the breath, to this moment, to your experience. Notice the impulse to move somewhere else. We're strengthening the muscle of attention as we keep coming back to this moment, to this breath, as if we've never experienced it before, because we haven't. This is a new breath. And noticing perhaps if the mind keeps wandering or fixating or projecting into the future or coming back to a news story or to finances or uncertainty or if it's an emotion without a storyline, something just pulling you outside of your experience of the breath, not judging that, just allowing that to be as you bring your attention back to the breath. We're not trying to push anything away. We're trying to invite whatever is here for you to be here as you're staying present. And if you find that distractions are particularly painful or insufferable, you can take one option again of continuing to gently come back to the breath. Or another option is to allow that distraction to be the new focus of your attention. Particularly if the distraction is pain or discomfort or strong emotion. Noticing any resistance or shutting down around pain that might arise and seeing if you can even come closer to it while allowing the breath to relax you. Breathing deeper into this moment, nowhere to go. Just being with any discomfort as long as it's here until it changes, which it inevitably will. Until you're ready to bring the attention back to the breath. Perhaps noticing the groundedness that arises from meeting whatever is here for you in this moment, whether it's your breath or difficulty or whatever might arise. The groundedness of being open to yourself in this moment as you are. And if your breath is somewhere other, if your attention is somewhere other than the breath, gently bringing it back, as if you're bringing a flashlight back, shining it on the inhale, filling the lungs, and the exhale, emptying the lungs. Bringing the attention to the sensation of the lungs in the chest. These small organs that keep us alive moment to moment. You might even feel moved to place your hand on your chest. Feeling the breathing, feeling the heartbeat beside it. All of these miracles keeping you alive. These grounded and centered and reliable organs that moment to moment stay here in the present and are available to us to remind us of the present. Whenever we get lost in the future or the past or the worries, which so naturally come. Perhaps feeling the sense of the group as a whole again. The sense of the wholeness of humanity right now. In this moment of transition, transformation that we have no idea where it will lead, and perhaps a sense of how important this inward centering is in all of this uncertainty. That any answers we might seek most meaningfully answered within us and not from the newspaper or from our governments. Not that that has to be ignored, but the real importance of this sense of coming home. The incredible potential that we have right within our chest. And just in these last few moments of our sit together, inviting your attention to really be with whatever's most present for you, just opening it out. Whether it's the heart or the sense of togetherness or the body or whatever present aliveness arises. Just being with us for a few quiet moments. And beginning to allow the attention to move from this centered breathing to expand to hold the whole body in your mind's eye. Just really feeling your wholeness physically. Not thinking about it, just feeling it. And allowing the attention to expand into the room, noticing the floor supporting you, the roof over your head if you're inside, or if you're outside, the wind moving or the leaves rustling or whatever might be holding you in your environment, and allow yourself to gently come out of this meditation and opening your eyes if they're closed, and inviting that sense of awakeness, presence to continue. Just because we end a meditation doesn't mean that anything has changed. But this ability to be here right now with whatever is arising is always available. And so I just have a brief reading to share as we have a couple minutes left that felt particularly helpful for me this week. And this is from Pema Chodron, a book on being uncomfortable with uncertainty, which seems fitting. And this reading is called Nothing Solid. Moving away from our experience, moving away from the present moment with habits and strategies and busy making always adds up to restlessness, dissatisfaction, unhappiness. The comfort that we associate with concretizing and making things solid is transitory and short-lived. Moving into our experience, whether it's the opening experience of love and compassion, or the closing down experience of fear or separation, brings us an enormous sense of freedom, the freedom of nothing solid. Something about nothing solid begins to equal freedom. In the meantime, we discover that we would rather feel fully present to our lives than to be off trying to make everything solid and secure by engaging our fantasies or our addictive patterns. We realize that connecting with our experience by meeting it feels better than resisting it or moving away. Being on the spot, even if it hurts, is preferable to avoiding. As we practice moving into the present moment this way, we become more familiar with groundlessness, a fresh state of being that is available to us on an ongoing basis. This moving away from comfort and security, this stepping out into what is unknown, uncharted, and shaky, that's called liberation. So, thank you all so much for joining. Just say briefly that I'll be offering a 4-week mindfulness training program starting in a couple of weeks, geared around the times that we're in, the time of uncertainty with COVID-19, and trainings to really help us cope with fear and uncertainty. And Jess, I don't know if you have any other details that you'd want to add, because you probably have more of the logistic side of things. But I just wanted to make everyone aware that it's in the works of being put up. I don't think it's up yet, right? Is that right?
Yeah, not quite. But for those of you that are here with us, as Chelsea mentioned, she's going to be leading a mindfulness in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic workshop series, which will be on Monday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. And we're just waiting to iron out a few last minute details, and then we'll make that available for you all to register. In the meantime, Chelsea is also giving more of her time to lead weekly meditation sessions similar to this on Tuesdays at noon starting next week. The difference between today's session and next week's session is, in addition to the 30-minute sit, similar to what we all just did together, Chelsea will offer an optional 30-minute opportunity for you all to connect with each other after your meditation. So really kind of anchoring down into that theme of connecting community and cultivating community, that option will be available for you after those 30-minute sits.
Yeah, it just feels important to, if anyone is especially wanting to connect right now, that we're here and happy to dialogue around what it means to be present in challenging times. So.
And then with that said too, I will stop the recording in case anybody wants to engage in more of a personal or private conversation. So the recording